You are standing in a dense, ancient forest. Your stomach is screaming in pure agony. You have not eaten a single thing in 3 agonizing days. The hunger is no longer just a dull ache. It is a sharp, clawing beast tearing at your insides. Right in front of your face is a lush bush covered in bright red berries. They look absolutely incredible. The afternoon sun catches the morning dew on their smooth skins, making them gleam like polished precious stones in the dim light. But you have a terrifying problem. You have never seen this specific plant before in your entire life. If you eat a handful of these mysterious fruits, you might finally satisfy your desperately starving body. You might regain just enough physical strength to find your way back to your distant tribe and survive the freezing night. Or, in exactly 20 minutes, your throat will suddenly close up tight, your lungs will completely paralyze, and you will die in excruciating pain on the damp forest floor. You have to make a choice right now, to eat or to starve. Every single fiber of your biological being is aggressively pushing you toward those red berries. Your mouth waters uncontrollably. Your vision blurs at the edges. This is not just a hypothetical scene from a forgotten history. This is the fundamental crisis of human existence. Every single time our distant ancestors put something unknown into their mouths, they were playing a remarkably high-stakes game of biological roulette. How did we ever survive this terrifying daily reality? How did a fragile ape with no sharp fangs, no defensive claws, and a highly sensitive stomach manage to eventually conquer the entire planet? The answer lies in the most dangerous game we ever learned to play. Look out at the rest of the vast animal kingdom. A koala only eats eucalyptus leaves. A lion only eats raw meat. A giant panda exclusively eats bamboo shoots. They never have to stop and deeply think about their daily food. Their biology makes the ultimate choice for them before they are even born into the world. They arrive with a rigid set of dietary instructions encoded deep within their DNA. But you are fundamentally different. Humans are true omnivores. We can eat almost anything that grows, walks, swims, or flies on planet Earth. This is our greatest evolutionary superpower. It is the exact reason we were able to survive brutal global ice ages, successfully cross burning deserts, and spread our civilization across every single landmass on the globe. But this incredible superpower comes with a massive psychological burden. Scientists call it the omnivore dilemma. If you have the physical capability to eat absolutely anything, then absolutely everything you encounter is a potential deadly poison. Every new green leaf you find, every strange tuber you dig up from the dirt, every brightly colorful mushroom growing on a rotting log is a terrifying mystery box that could contain your sudden death. You do not have the comforting luxury of animal instinct to guide you. You have to figure it out using only your mind and your senses. And the penalty for guessing wrong is fatal. Imagine for a moment the sheer terror of being the very first human being to ever try a raw oyster, or a simple cashew. Cashews literally grow attached to toxic pseudo-apples and have thick outer shells filled with a burning caustic acid. Yet someone, somewhere in our dark history, figured out exactly how to bypass the poison and eat the nut inside safely. We look out at raw, untouched nature today, and we confidently see a bountiful, welcoming buffet. But nature is absolutely not a grocery store. Nature is a ruthless chemical warfare zone. Plants absolutely do not want to be eaten by you. They cannot run away on legs, so they fiercely fight back with sophisticated chemical weapons. They silently produce potent neurotoxins, digestive inhibitors, and fatal poisons. And you, the constantly hungry, wandering ape, have to successfully navigate this invisible, deadly minefield every single day just to stay alive. So how did you survive the wilderness? How did you possibly know which bright berries would nourish your frail body and which ones would suddenly stop your beating heart? The terrifying truth is that you did not know. You outsourced your biological survival entirely to culture. You did not have to foolishly test the red berries yourself, because the wise elders in your tribe had already done it for you. They watched someone violently die from eating those exact same berries 10 generations ago, and they passed that grim cautionary story down through time. Shared cultural knowledge effectively became your secondary digestive system. We humans collaboratively built a vast invisible library of safe foods, shared in hushed voices around warm campfires, and passed from parent to child over thousands of difficult years. You are the incredibly lucky beneficiary of millions of lethal mistakes made by those brave, desperate souls who came before you. But humans eventually did something even more incredible. We did not just learn to cautiously avoid the deadly poisons of the forest. We actually learned how to destroy them completely. We harnessed the raw, transformative power of fire. Cooking is not just about making your dinner taste pleasant. Cooking is a profound technological cheat code that fundamentally altered the course of our biological evolution. When you throw a tough, highly toxic root into a blazing hot fire, the intense heat physically breaks down the complex chemical defenses of the plant. Fire effectively acts as an external stomach. It pre-digests the food for you, easily breaking down tough plant fibers and literally burning away the deadly toxins. We figured out how to cleverly turn deadly weapons into pure life-sustaining fuel. A raw potato can make you violently ill and severely cramp your stomach. A cooked potato safely built entire, sprawling civilizations across the high Andes Mountains. By cooking our food, we freed up massive amounts of biological energy. Our once long, complex digestive tracts shrank down significantly. Our brains suddenly exploded in physical size and processing power. We brilliantly used the vital energy we saved from endlessly chewing and digesting raw leaves to build complex tools, paint magnificent stories on cave walls, and map the complex movements of the night stars. Fire magically transformed the terrifying gamble of the wild into a warm, deeply comforting ritual. We gathered closely around the hearth, completely safe from the dark unknown, happily eating food that our ancestors had bravely conquered and tamed for us. But let us aggressively pull you out of the ancient past and bring you back to the stark reality of the present moment. The dense, mysterious ancient forest is entirely gone. It has been completely replaced by the modern American supermarket. The glowing fluorescent aisles stretch out endlessly before you, densely filled with tens of thousands of brightly colored packages. You no longer harbor any rational fear of acute, fast-acting toxins from wild berries. You absolutely do not have to worry that opening a cardboard box of breakfast cereal will paralyze your lungs and stop your heart in 20 minutes. The physical environment around you has completely radically changed, but the fundamental dilemma has not disappeared at all. The poison just got much slower. You are now completely surrounded by hyper-palatable, heavily processed edible food-like substances. These are absolutely not real foods born from the rich soil of the earth. They are meticulously engineered in sterile corporate laboratories, designed specifically and intentionally to hijack your primal, ancient survival instincts. Think about the vibrant colors and the artificial flavors perfectly designed in those white rooms. Food scientists have discovered the exact mathematical bliss point of salt, sugar, and fat that will cause your brain to release massive waves of dopamine. They use synthetic dyes to perfectly mimic the bright, attractive colors of fully ripe fruit. They artificially create the exact mouthfeel of nutrient-dense fats. Your senses are being expertly, systematically lied to. You bite into a brightly colored modern snack, and your brain genuinely believes you have just discovered a massive life-saving calorie source in the unforgiving wilderness. It rewards you with immense physical pleasure and practically begs you to eat more. But there are no actual sustaining nutrients. There is only an empty, beautifully engineered illusion. Your ancient brain is still hopelessly, tragically trapped in that starving, desperate forest. It is still hardwired to aggressively seek out rare calorie-dense foods to survive the brutal freezing winter. But the brutal winter never actually comes. Instead, you are constantly bombarded with infinite cheap calories, infinite refined sugar, and infinite heavily processed fats. Your ancient biology is completely defenseless against this modern, highly weaponized food engineering. The deadly gamble of eating is no longer about sudden violent death on the forest floor. It is instead about chronic illness. It is about heart disease, severe metabolic dysfunction, diabetes, and a slow creeping decay of your physical body. You walk down the brightly lit cereal aisle, relying blindly on the exact same ancient instincts that brilliantly kept your ancestors alive in the harsh wilderness. But those very same instincts are now actively betraying you every single day. The bright red juicy berry of the unknown forest has simply become the bright red crinkly plastic packaging of a mass-produced snack cake. Both visually promise immediate survival and boundless energy to your brain. Only one actually delivers a slow, agonizing demise over decades. We are the only single species on the entire planet that actually has to learn how to properly eat. Eating for a human being is never just a simple mechanical biological function. It is a profound act of deep, undeniable cultural trust. Every single time you swallow a bite of modern food today, you are blindly trusting the distant farmers, the massive industrial factories, and the invisible government regulators. You are placing your delicate life directly in the hands of the thousands of years of human history and cultural evolution that miraculously brought that specific meal to your dinner plate. We successfully conquered the entire global food chain. We completely subdued the wild plants and the dangerous predatory animals. We built magnificent sprawling cities of shining glass and steel. And we mathematically mapped the absolute entirety of the human genome. Yet beneath all of this modern illusion of total control, we remain deeply, instinctively terrified of what is actually sitting on our plates. We endlessly obsess over trending diets, carefully reading complicated chemical ingredient labels, constantly fearing the invisible, slow-acting substances hidden within our daily casual meals. The next time you walk into your kitchen and open your heavy refrigerator door, look very closely at the foods silently waiting for you on the cold, illuminated shelves. Remember that starving, desperate ape standing completely alone in the endless primeval forest. Remember the roaring, bright fire that kept the terrifying darkness at bay and magically turned deadly poison into sustaining life. You have successfully survived the brutal, immediate dangers of the wild. But the high-stakes game is absolutely not over. Every single meal you eat is still a deeply profound gamble. Choose wisely.